Hello and welcome to Jolly TV episode 8. As promised, we're actually going on a visit to St Giles Church today. John Radford is going to tell us about the church as he is the organist here. John, thank you so much for inviting us here today.
It was a pleasure.
I did say in episode 1 that we would try to come to the church, and here we are, so I'm really delighted to be here. I was just wondering if you could tell us anything interesting about the church today.
Well, we'll start with the font, which is we're just standing by here. The font is the original 18th century font. I think the story is that it was away when the church burnt down in 1908, but the canopy above it is 20th century. A little secret here is, of course, that when we have a baptism, the rector has to hold the baby and put it in here.
Yes.
But of course, you can't get a baby's head through so this comes away like that, so you can get in to access the actual font.
That's very clever. Thanks for showing us that. I'm just wondering, the windows in here are just really spectacular, and I think people will really enjoy seeing the colours. Could you give us a little tour of the windows, please?
Yes, certainly, yes. Yeah.
Great, we'll follow you.
Right. This is the oldest glass in the church, in this window. And it's not English, it's foreign. We're not sure. Somebody must have brought it back from the Grand Tour or something like that. And you can see it was obviously cut for a much smaller window. So that's very old, is that glass. And the scene at the top is Palm Sunday, and you can see there the people, Jesus riding on the donkey on the left, and on the right people are strewing the road with their cloaks. A gentleman there's got a very nice red cloak that he's using.
Even though it's very old, the colours are still
I think there's been a little
vibrant.
bit of touching up at some point in the history, probably after the fire. Because the red in there, it looks like some of the red in some of the more modern windows, let's call them. The east window, which is one of my favourites, because at the bottom we've sort of got the heavenly choir, with King David in the middle, and they've all got their music and their wonderful hats on.
Yes, they're quite medieval, aren't
yes,
they?
Yes, they are, yeah. And it's plain song. They've got plain song books. It's an Easter window, so they're all singing plain song for Easter Day.
Could you just tell me what plain song is? Because
Plain song is what you'd hear if you went to a service in a monastery, where it's just one line of music in free time, really. So it's not metrical. That's probably the best way to describe plain song.
Thank you. And I think there's some really interesting...
The canopy, yes, that's
canopies,
right, with the dove of the Holy Spirit and all the gifts of the Spirit round it, and the tongues of fire, red. And this was installed by Ninian Comper, who rebuilt the church in 1908 to 10.
It's very ornate.
It is, yeah,
a small village
church, yeah.
Do we know why it's quite elaborate?
No, except that you know, it was, the Earl wanted the best for his church at the time, and so he went to quite an top drawer architect, produced elaborate things like this, really. Yeah. There's a very similar one in Durham Cathedral, over the shrine of St Cuthbert. So he had some quite big commissions, did Comper. There's a window in Westminster Hall in the Houses of Parliament, and a whole set of windows in Westminster Abbey.
I think when we came to visit you with the Jolly Days, people really liked seeing the little emblems that are in these.
The one in this window, for example, is just above where it says Harriet, the A of Harriet and it's a little yellow, unripened strawberry plant. And then the date, MCM, next to it.
I was just amazed at how clean that canopy over the altar was. I don't know how they keep it like that. We're now going to go off and look at some of the other windows with John.
You can see that's more green background, which is very typical of Victorian glass.
Oh, I see.
Whereas the 20th century glass is much lighter. You can see the difference. And the colours are more vivid, and the backgrounds are.
And where's the strawberry plant in this
The
one?
strawberry plant here is in the third light above
yes.
Anno, just there. These windows would make lovely Christmas cards.
Has that ever been done?
No, we never done. No, but we've got the nativity scene here, and then the wise men, and then the flight into Egypt on the left. One interesting window actually is this one, which is a bit difficult to see.
Yes.
But we've actually got King Charles I in that window.
I mean, he's the figure on the left.
He's the one on the left, yeah. Yes.
Is that because the Earl at the time was a supporter of Charles I?
Well, yes, the first Earl, although I think he was.
There's a very elaborate tomb here as well.
That's right.
Can you tell us anything about that?
The tomb of Sir Anthony Ashley, who was an ancestor of the Earls, and his daughter is kneeling there, and she married a Cooper, and that's when they became Ashley Coopers.
There's an awful lot of detail.
It is. It's a huge monument actually. It wouldn't look lost in Salisbury Cathedral. It's Jacobean. And it's got this curious thing at the base of his feet, which looks like a football, old-fashioned football, with pentagons and hexagons. By coincidence, it's exactly a representation of a molecule, but that was only discovered in the 1980s. That's the so-called cabbage, in inverted commas, that you read about in some of the books. When Wimborne St Giles has mentioned, the story was that he grew the first cabbage, in England. That probably isn't true, but I think it might mean to represent the world.
It's amazing to think that people were well travelled in that time.
Well, that's right. I mean,
travel must have been so inconvenient and hard and difficult and dangerous.
That's right. It required a lot of planning and not many maps or instruments to sort of guide you on the way, really. The other interesting thing about this is, and a lady came to see it once from Christchurch, who was into costume, and she went into raptures about it. I can go home and recreate these, which you could tell by the way the pleats in the clothes all work. Very interesting memorial, this one.
Brilliant. I love the fact that these ladies on the top have got double chins and big tummies. I'm quite encouraged by that, actually.
I think they're supposed to be the four graces, but we've only got two of them. I don't know what's happened to the other two, but yeah.
There's an awful lot to take in.
There is, actually,
Has this been restored?
Yes,
because the paintwork
yes, it
is
was all.
quite,
Fortunately, it wasn't too badly damaged in the fire.
I've got a favourite window actually, and I wondered if you'd look at it with me,
right?
And if you can tell me anything about it.
Yeah.
John is a very knowledgeable man, and I really enjoy talking to him. He's a very important person in our village. For some reason, I really like this one here.
Oh,
I think it's the colours. I think it's the purple and the green and the brown, which you don't really see very often.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about this one?
Well, it's Comper. It's a Comper window, but it's the sister, what we call known in the Bible as the Sisters of Bethany, Martha and Mary.
Oh.
Comper didn't just design your church and give you stained glass windows. He did vestments as well. It was the Sisters of Bethany, an Anglican nunnery, that did all the needlework for him. So that's probably why
right. So it's sort of dedicated to them.
Probably, yes. Yeah.
I'd learnt such a lot today. I was so grateful to John for his knowledge. I'm really looking forward to the next episode of Jolly TV when we will hear him playing the organ. If you would like to visit this beautiful church for yourself, the opening times are from 9 a.m. to sunset every day. Details of services can be found at achurchnearyou.com. Search for Wimborne St Giles. In the meantime, if you want to find out what we're up to, you can have a look at our website at injollygoodcompany.com. Thank you.